forget to like this video if you like it. Click subscribe, click notifications for future contents, and don't forget to share it with a friend.
Greetings, shalom, shalom. Greetings, everyone. This is Mike Allen here once again with another video, and I have the privilege of the one and only Call for Wisdom, Sister Deborah. Oh man, we decided this is spontaneous, everyone, to create this video. We were talking about a particular topic that I was thinking of, and Sister Deborah, you know, knowing her, like what she's always ready to go. Like as soon as she gets the insight, she gets the revelation, she's ready to run with it. And
Well,
so,
my sisters, I gotta do it for you all because Brother Michael,
yeah,
he's great spontaneously. He's great all the time, but sometimes he says these things, and I feel like there's somebody out there that needs to hear it. Brother Michael. And today, like, it can't wait. So, Brother Michael, maybe you're going to save one daughter today from Zion from getting into this. May you pray for the Lord, the Ruach.
We had a live stream this past Monday night, Masculinity Monday, here on Digging in the Word. And we touched on the topic. Remind me, Deborah. We touched on the topic.
Well, we had last
Monday
was a question and answer.
It was a Q&A, and it was actually my first time back live streaming. Our first time back live streaming on this channel and on this particular show since the 9th of June.
Oh, yeah, almost 2 months.
2 months, right? Almost. And so, we discussed what was going on during that time. So if you didn't see that video, that was recorded the other night. That was on August 4th, 2025. You want to go back and check that live stream out. But we also fit in there, which really comprised of most of the stream, was a Q&A, right? And so we took different questions from not only the audience that was in the chat and from the panel, but we also took questions, or we covered questions that were asked on the channel, on particular videos since our last live stream. And in doing so, there were some good meaty questions we thought would probably make good for, right? So one question in particular dealt with this notion and this idea of threesomes, right? So if that piques your interest, then you want to go back and go check the the live stream out. But I say all that to make this point is that it made me think, because as we do on the live streams, it's a dialogue, it's an open discussion, right? It's not a discussion with us and the audience, right, and the panel and the chat room, and so not only am I asking questions, but questions are asked at me and us, and so it's a dialogue going on, and it's very organic in that manner. If you haven't really watched any of the live streams, and so it's very engaging, and I sound like I'm plugging the live stream right now.
No, but you should. It's full of stuff, right? Yeah.
So, and speaking of plugging, right? Even on that particular topic, it made us, think too, also to plug that, I have a new book that's coming out. Actually, we're going to be on the subject of threesomes, comparing threesomes with biblical polygamy, right? And comparing and contrasting and talking about that number one rated desire or fantasy that most men have, right? And what that is, right? You should know what that is, right? Especially
actually, not the women don't know. So you're
well, if you want to know, then you need to get a copy.
Even the sisters are curious. Like, you get this book.
The editors are reviewing it, and it should be soon published, prayerfully within the next few weeks, and it will come out in an ebook form. And then from there, we're going to go paperback. And then from paperback, we're going to have audio so that people will be able to have the opportunity to have all three forms of the book, right? Yeah. Accessible. So with that said, we're going back to this this question on threesomes. And it made me think about this idea of prostitution and dating, right? And so today's topic is on how dating leads her to prostitution. How dating leads her to prostitution. And so I
Mhm.
started sharing this with Sister Deborah a little bit earlier, and she said, "Hold on, wait. I think we need to record this, right?" That's why we're here today, folks. We're recording. This is off the cuff,
Up with
off
the
the
God.
head, spontaneous, right?
Mhm.
Impromptu. So let's get into it. All right. So
Alrighty.
there's about 3 or 4 scriptures that come to mind when I think of this topic. How dating leads her, and I'm talking about her, particularly daughters, to prostitution, right?
Mm.
And the dating culture here, particularly in the West, it's wide range, it's rapid. Mostly everyone has gone on a date, depending on what your upbringing was, right?
Mhm.
And it is perceived as being innocent, but dating was not always a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah, yeah.
dating
Yeah.
was not
Mm.
always actually relatively new, right?
Mm.
You go back, 100 plus, a little more than 100 years, you didn't really see dating. Like dating wasn't a thing, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
What you did see was courtship, right?
Mhm.
And that did
Mhm.
come up in the discussion the other night, right? So what you do see
Mhm.
is courtship, and that is a young man, having an interest in a young lady, and the way to this young lady, he had to go through her father,
No other way.
right? He had to go through her
Yeah.
father. And
Mhm.
so he had to go and talk with her father, and he had to discuss what his interests were.
Mhm.
That was a common question that fathers often ask, like,
Yeah.
what your interest in my daughter, right?
Mhm.
Your
Mhm.
intent, right? What is your
Mhm.
intent for my daughter? Right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
you're not going to be to having my daughter out all hours of the night and so forth. And so in those earlier days, when a young man wanted to see a man's daughter, right, he had to go to the father, but he did not have exclusive time with her.
Not at
Right?
all. Can I just give a
Yeah,
testimony, Brother Michael?
verse. Let's
Because
verse. Yeah, get
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
but yeah, because it's very interesting you said that because one of the stories that my mother used to tell me, and just recently we talked about it before she passed away, was how she met my dad.
Mm,
And she said she didn't really meet my dad. Her father met my dad, my grandfather, because
mm,
my dad went straight past her,
straight
straight to
path.
him, right? And
Wow.
that was the culture. And he hung up with him every weekend. It was
Right.
like they were best friends. And she
Right.
was like, I know he's interested in me, but he wasn't talking to me. It was all getting to know my father and my father, which is my grandfather,
Right.
approving of this man. Like, I like him. Yeah, I can hang out with him. Yeah, he's a good man. Okay, now you can have my daughter in marriage. So there was no dating. They did not date.
It was no day. That's
No.
that's like unheard of, right? In today's
In
day
the
and time,
culture,
right? That's
yeah.
unheard of, right? This
Yeah.
notion of like,
Mm.
he doesn't even make his interest known to the young lady, right?
Not
He's
even that. She knew, like, like aside that
right,
he would send her a wink and stuff like that. But he
right,
focused on the father,
right,
impressing the dad, Yeah.
right. So there was no thing of, taking the young lady out to have exclusive time. There was no such thing as going to the young lady's room, her
Oh,
bedroom, and
oh,
the door be closed, and you have this exclusive time. When it's
no,
there
no.
for 12 hours.
Or restaurants, or even
Right.
doing that. They didn't do that. They did
Yeah.
group things together as a community, and they would be
Or
involved, you know.
or you had the designated chaperone,
And
right?
what's the chaperone? The group things were your chaperone, so that the people looking at you
Right,
all, you know.
right, right, escort.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
escort. The
yes.
excuses to do things together was always with other group of people.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So nowadays you
Mhm.
have the culture where you have women are, they're dating, and the role of the father, which we're going to get into, is bypassed. And so now you have young ladies out here looking for a man that will marry them, and 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 they bypass the father's brokerage, right,
Yeah,
or brokering
yeah,
of the man, vetting the young man, sitting
totally.
down and eyeball to eyeball,
Mhm,
logic and reason to reason, get all of
mhm.
the emotions out, right? So
Yeah.
here it is, you have this young lady, she sees this tall, dark, handsome man, right? and and she's so drawn with, you know, how he looks, and, you know, he has nice clothes, he smells good, right? He's driving a nice car, right? He said all the right,
Right,
nice,
right,
other
right,
women are attracted to him, right? So
right.
all of these things are very appealing, right, to a young lady. And so she allows herself to be taken out by this young man, whether it be, you know, out to dinner, the movies, or what have you. And oftentimes, if she's going to go out with, let's just say 10 guys, right? Within a 6 month time frame, and I'm being very conservative, right?
That's how it is in America? Really? Really?
Very conservative. I mean, I
No.
literally would go out with 50, 100 men a year, right?
No way.
And
Wow.
so, that being the case, how many
Mm.
men is she going to actually become intimate with? You know, not just kiss.
Statistically? No,
We go
statistically?
physical,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Statistics, and we have no statistics here, right? But I guess, you know, we can all do that. We can go and, you know, find out statistically how often does what's the ratio of a date leading to sex, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
so, because there's polls, there's surveys done, and I'm sure that there are people out there that admits, th- their experiences, right? So, with that being
Mm.
said, these young ladies, you know, are putting themselves in a situation of basically exchanging their bodies for a date, their bodies for exclusive time, their bodies
Mm.
a cup of coffee, right? Or a lunch or dinner, right? Or a movie, right? Or a
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
right? They're
yeah,
exchanging their bodies, and then as a result of it, they're having the experiences of being with multiple men,
yeah.
right? So, and with being with multiple men, then what happens is that their body count is going up, and we're going to get into why that is a problem when a woman's
Mm.
body count is going up, right? We've talked about it on a number of videos on this channel, Digging in the Word, and definitely on Call for Wisdom, right?
Mm.
Channel. And, you know, it is not a good thing for a woman to have multiple men and sexual encounters, right? Especially randomly, especially no commitment, right?
No, no, no.
It is such a harmful thing to a woman's total ecosystem, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
to live in a lifestyle as such. But let's go to the first video, video. I can't say video. The first scripture, right? And
Mm.
that will be that comes to mind is Leviticus 19. So let me present and share screen and pull my scripture up. All right. All right. So Leviticus 19. We're gonna go to Leviticus 19:29. Right. Uh, okay.
Mhm.
So could you do the honors and read that
Do
verse?
not, yeah, it says, do not profane your daughter by making her a harlot, so that the land will not be full to, to fall to harlotry, and the land become full of lewdness.
Lewdness. Okay, let's break this verse down. Okay.
Mm.
This is a commandment, obviously, through implication, is to fathers, right?
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
daughters are the offspring of the female offspring of a father, right?
Mm.
So do not profane your daughter by making her a harlot. Okay, so what father would actually want to make his daughter into a prostitute, right?
Not deliberately, no.
Not deliberately, right? But can a man make his daughter a prostitute implicitly, right?
I mm.
Or unintentionally? Can he possibly make his daughter into a prostitute, right? So this word profane has a footnote to it. Let's look at the footnote. It means to degrade.
Mm.
So, uh, for a man to make his daughter into a prostitute would be for him to degrade her.
To lower, degrade her.
To
Yeah.
lower, to
Mm,
grade her, right? To lower, degrade her.
mm,
And
mm.
so the commandment says, do not profane or degrade your daughter by making her a harlot. Now, what's a harlot? Let's look at this word, right? Because it's not a word that we often use in nowadays circles. So I just want to make sure that we on the up and up in terms of what the word mean. And this is in the Hebrew, this is the word
Strong's H2181. Zana, Zana,
zana, zana. So
So,
so this word here in Leviticus 19:29, it
mm,
call it is to commit fornication, right? So fornication is what? Fornication, we'll get to that. All right. So zana, the definition here is to it is highly fed and therefore wanton,
mm,
right? To commit adultery, usually of a female, right? And the commandment is for the father not to make his daughter into a prostitute, not to make his
mm.
daughter into a zana, right?
So, no.
Usually of people, and less often of a simple fornication, really of involuntary ravishment,
Mm,
figuratively to commit adultery. The the Jewish people being regarded as the spouse of Jehovah or Yahweh, caused to commit fornication, continually great and play the harlot, cause a whore to whore. So another word for harlot is a whore, right?
mm,
And so that would be a prostitute, right?
mm,
Also, we see here in terms of it is spiritually, it's idolatry, right? It
mm.
is to commit idolatry, is what the definition says here, to commit idolatry, right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
What would yeah, so that's basically what it is. So to prostitute oneself is idolatrous, and we're going to see more passages that support that. It is idolatrous, but so how can a father make his daughter into an idolater? How can a father make his
Mm,
daughter into a prostitute? How can a
mm,
father, would a father intentionally want his daughter to be a whore, right?
mm.
Or slut? Would a
Y-
father would intentionally want that for his daughter?
Can I ask you a question? Because we know spiritual idolatry is to serve another lowercase yeah, and God, another God, and a smaller God, put
Mm-hmm.
somebody above you. So if the father is in authority over the daughter and he sends her off to prostitute herself to other
Right.
men
Mm-hmm.
uh, who do not have his authority, would that be considered the same way, like a spiritual adultery?
If a father would say that again,
Like the whole concept of adultery is to have other authorities, right? They're not submitting spiritually to God. So you submit to
right?
other gods, other
It's
Buddha, whatever
definitely, yeah,
kind of
it's
thing.
definitely not
Yeah.
devotion to God. So there is the
The
spirit
guidance, the leadership.
spiritually to be spiritually
Mhm.
in the under the headship or leadership of another God, right?
Correct, correct. And then if you were to say that, I'm just making this connection in my head. Okay, we're doing this spontaneously on the internet here. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking out loud. So if we were to say that when you're dating and you are also spiritually submitting yourself to random men, like you're not
Mhm.
even sleeping them, but you're leaving your father's authority and you're doing the same thing,
Mhm.
um, would would that be kind of the same thing as
Well, yeah,
whoring?
but spiritually, like, okay, so what is a father to a daughter? A
He's our
father
head. He's
is
our,
her head,
yeah,
right?
yeah, our leader, our head.
He's her
Leader.
possession, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That we know if we go to Deuteronomy 5, right? In Deuteronomy 5, we have the 10 commandments. So if we scroll all the way down to the 10th commandment, right? Um, we can see that this implies that the daughter is is the father's possession, just like
Mhm,
anything else that is the father's possession, right?
mhm,
Let me see. Here we go. And this is the last one. This is the last one. Deuteronomy 5:21. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. So obviously the neighbor that is being spoken of, right, is the man, right? You should not covet your neighbor, that's that man's wife,
Mhm.
And you shall not desire your neighbor's house, his field, or his male servant, or his female servant, his ox, or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So anything that's in that house of your neighbor, which would include his children, right,
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
is right. And so a man does not have a right to just access something to that belongs to another man without going through that man.
Okay.
Right?
So all daughters belong to their fathers, and
Belongs to
yeah.
their fathers. Here's
Mhm.
another passage. Here's another passage that shows what I'm talking about. Deuteronomy 21. I'm sorry, it would not 21, but 22.
If a girl finds a
Yes.
virgin. Mhm.
Okay, so here 28, 29, right? You're gonna read that 28 and 29.
Yeah, it says if a man finds a girl who is a virgin who is not engaged and seizes her and lays with her, and they are discovered, then the man who lays with her shall give the girl's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall become his wife because he has violated her. He cannot divorce her all his days.
Right. So he violated her because number one, he didn't go through her father to access her, right? And the fact that he's penalized with having to pay a father shekels, right?
Mhm.
50 shekels of silver also implies that it was the father's right to decide who he would give his daughter to, right?
Mhm.
This young man couldn't just take it upon himself and
Mhm.
take someone else's daughter, right?
Mhm.
And so notice that it says, a virgin who is not engaged. So if
Mhm.
she was engaged, then it would be a different situation,
Because she
right?
belonged to
But
somebody
she's
else.
else, right? And we
Yeah.
see that in the previous verse, right?
Can I ask you something there? I just noticed that too, that this command doesn't give him any leeway. It kind of promotes polygyny too, in the sense that the man has to
He
do
has to,
this, whether
right?
he
So
has otherwise or not.
he has otherwise or not. So even if a man, because sometimes a married man will take advantage of a virgin girl and or
Mhm.
a virgin young woman, and he will lay with her right without the father's permission, and that
Mhm.
happens still today, whether
Yeah.
the man is married or not. The text
Mhm.
does not qualify that he must be single.
No, and there's no
It does
qualifications
not
there.
say that, right? That's a good
Mhm.
observation there, Sister D. So in 25, it says, but in the field,
Mhm.
the man finds, but if, hold on a second. Here, no, let's go back up a little bit further. Here, 20, here we go. If there is a girl who is a virgin engaged to a man, and another man finds her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out to the gate of that city, and you shall stone them to death, the girl, because she did not cry out in the city. So she didn't cry out rape. So obviously
Mhm.
he's consenting to it, right?
Mhm.
And the man, because he has violated his neighbor's wife. Thus you shall purge the evil. So both of them are to be stoned, right?
And again, you're saying you violated his neighbor's wife, so something that belonged to
It
somebody
belongs
else.
to the man. So
Yeah.
if he's the neighbor's daughter or he
Mhm.
is the neighbor's wife, you don't
Mhm.
have access to that freely, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so this is the reason why there's penalty, right?
Mhm.
Whether if she's someone's daughter or whether she's engaged to someone. We ain't even talking about married. We just saying
No, engaged. Yeah.
because engaged
Promised
means
to.
she's legally contracted to that person. She belongs to that man.
Mhm. Mhm.
Belongs to that man. And she, even though she's still a virgin, she still belongs to them. So
Mhm.
a biblical example of that is that Mary belonged to Joseph.
Yeah.
Even though she was a virgin, and this is the reason why he was thinking to put her, because he had the right to put her away,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? She was legally his, even
Mhm.
though he didn't
Mhm.
consummate the marriage by having sex with her, right?
Yeah.
Going into
Yeah.
her, and
Yeah.
because she was contracted with to him, then that's a
Mhm.
other Now let's get into the contract thing.
Mm.
23. Before we go there, let's look at one more passage. And I was going to go there first, but then I thought of this one. But let's go to 23:17. In 23:17, start at 16. No, say 17. It says, none of the daughters of Israel shall be a cult prostitute, nor shall any of the sons be cult prostitutes. Again, it's the same thing that we saw in the very first passage, and that was in Leviticus 19:29. It's prostitution, but it's also idolatry.
The same,
It's the same thing. Cult prostitution is idolatry. That's all it is. It's simply it's exchanging sex, and it becomes an idolatrous thing, right? Now, one is exchanging and selling off themselves, right, to another god,
right.
And so whenever there is fornication, whenever there's sexual immorality, whenever there is a one-night stand after that first date, right, that is sexual immorality. That is biblically prostitution. Right? Whether if the trade-off was for money or for just pleasure, it's still prostitution if there's no legal contract like engagement. There's no legal contract like engagement, then, and it's sex, and then there is no intent for commitment. Then you just have prostitution on your hands. You have sexual immorality on your hands, right? And so again, getting back to this topic, how dating leads her to prostitution, this is the problem. The problem is that a young woman is out guiding her own self. She's making rational decisions that are being led by her sexual and emotional desires. And so, she's desiring this man, and she's allowing her decisions to be driven and led based on those desires. And it becomes easy for the man to seduce her, like the young man in the previous chapter seduced the virgin. It becomes easy without the father's brokering.
No, there's no barrier. It
becomes easy without the father's guidance, right? And having that conversation, because when a father has a conversation, he's not going to be looking into the young man's eyes unless there's something of the father, right?
Or smelling his cologne, or
he has that conversation. All of the above. She's going to be smelling the cologne. She's going to be looking into the eyes. She's going to be seeing how tall. She's going to be looking at the biceps, the chest muscles bulging out, right? The six pack. He's going to be looking at all of that, and it's going to cloud her judgment.
Yeah, that's what happens. And we're very in the moment also as women. We must just say we know, we go by our current feelings about the person.
Right. Exactly. And so, which means that a woman is designed and created to be led. Yah said to he said to Eve that your husband must rule over you. So if the husband must be led, should not the daughter, who is younger than the mother, be led? Come on, let's get some logic.
Amen. It's true. All women are meant to be.
See, here's how Yah feels about the offerings of a prostitute. He says, you shall not bring the hire of a harlot or the wages of a dog into the house. He equates a dog with the wages of the prostitute. Right? It's the house of Yahweh, your Elohim. For any votive offering for both of these are an abomination to Yahweh, your Elohim. He hates the produce of sexual immorality, prostitution, whoredom.
So wait, are you telling me, so when women say they go on dates and the guy bought them a Gucci bag and he took them out to Dubai and they're like praising their conquest of what they got from the man in the dates, that is an abomination.
It's an abomination, and it's equivalent to, and in this particular context, it's equivalent. Let's just say the man gave her $1,000. Yeah, she's a church girl, right? And so she's, what, I'm gonna give God 10%. So she put 10% in the basket, right?
Yeah.
God said he hates that.
Wow.
He hates that.
No. Because right now, modern women are boasting about the guys paying for their nails, their hair,
Right, and so
the things that they got from him.
There's no marital contract, right? No marital contract. It's just a trade-off for the pleasure, the money, or whatever it is, and that's what's being exchanged, right? And Yah is nowhere in it. There must be a contract involved.
So pull this back to, because you started this conversation with me saying that the men are somehow responsible for this. That was the first intro.
Right. And let's get it from the horse's mouth. I'm glad you bring that point up, right? Jeremiah 29. All right, so Jeremiah 29, scroll on down till about the 4th. Now, this is Israel being exiled, right? Because of disobedience, because of spiritual prostitution, right? Prostituting herself, Israel, Judah, right? Particularly, this is speaking to Judah, right? But because of prostituting, because of spiritual adultery, because of spiritual porneia, fornication, right? Sexual immorality, right? Yah gave her over into the hands or into the control, right, of her Johns, right? Her tricks, right? He gave her over. Okay, so you want to play the harlot to them? Now they're gonna run you. They're gonna own you.
They're gonna run you over,
and they're gonna make you run the streets for them. They're gonna make you work that street.
They're gonna pimp you out.
Right? So this is what they're gonna do. And she got traded from Assyria, Babylon, Persia, from Persia to Greece to Rome. And even up today, you got Europe, then you got the Americas, right? She's still being pimped out. Still being pimped out. She's not home in the land. She's still being pimped out.
Yeah, we're still in exile.
And so we're still in exile, technically, right? And so this is what Yah says. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, he says, the Elohim of Israel, right? To all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. He says, build houses and live in them, and plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and become the fathers of sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands. So now, what's the verb here? Give. What's the noun? Daughters. Possession. Fathers possess your daughters to husbands.
So you give
their sons and daughters, and multiply there and do not increase. So this is corresponding to the command to be fruitful and to multiply. So the process of fruitful and multiplication is the man take a wife or wives, and he goes into them, and they bear children, sons and daughters, and it becomes his responsibility to now set those sons and daughters up. Take wives for the sons and prepare the daughters, and to give the daughters to husbands.
Wait, Brother Michael, is this a command?
This is
or this is optional.
This when I see the word take, I don't see the word please. I would like you to.
I listen. I think that there's a problem here, Houston, because
there's a disconnect. So there is a biblical obligation, a mandate from the Most High, right, for all men who proclaim His name, right, who are of His people Israel, right, of His assembly, to take on this role, employ this role.
This is their responsibility, really?
Right? And that is to give your daughters into marriage to husbands.
Get your daughters, get them to marriage. Oh my gosh.
That's the father's responsibility.
So it's not like leave your daughters to do what they're doing and sort themselves out.
Right. So now when they're out there in the dating market, right, they're fending for themselves.
Yeah.
They're fending for themselves. They're on their own.
And where's the dads?
And where's the daddies? Right? Where's the daddies? They're on the couch with the remote watching the football game, right?
No.
Yeah, right. While his daughter is out there slutting it up.
And
right?
getting older and getting older, and yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
so going back to that first initial text, do
Yeah.
not profane your daughter by making her a harlot, so that the land will not fall to harlotry and the land become full of lewdness. This is the reason why we have the cultural issues that we have. It's because primarily fathers are not standing in their rightful positions. They're not obeying Yah, and they
Ooh,
are
my.
allowing their daughters, right?
Oh
Right.
my.
They are allowing their daughters to be degraded to prostitution.
Oh my.
And so it doesn't matter.
So my.
It doesn't matter whether if she has, it doesn't matter whether, ladies, if you have your PhD, you make your own.
Mm,
But I make my own money. I don't
mm,
get nothing for me. It doesn't matter. If he takes you out, if he gets to spend that exclusive time for you, the trade-off can just be pleasure.
yeah.
It does not have to be because he bought you a burger, boo. It does not have to be because he took you out for some ice cream, right?
Mhm.
To the movie, or took you to that trip. You know, Diddy, right? Right now,
Mhm.
is charged, or he's convicted, right, on 2 counts, right, of what? Transporting women or transporting people or women across
Mhm.
state lines for the express purpose of what? Pornaya,
Pornaya.
prostitution, harlotry, zana.
Mm.
Zana is the Hebrew word, right?
Zanar. So even in the worldly system, there's that's considered a crime.
They even get that there's something wrong with that.
Mm-hmm,
Right?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so the trade-off, right, you know, is for his own pleasure, right?
Mhm.
It's the own
So
pleasure and the payoff, right? He's paying money to do this, right?
yeah,
You
he'll sacrifice his money, his cash for a little time with you in bed and stuff.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you're talking about now, do not profane. So the father, even in his negligence or not wanting to do anything or thinking that he's not responsible for the dating life of his daughter. I see so many brothers in my environment that don't feel responsible for getting their daughters married at all.
No, I mean, if you would ask the average man here in the West, you know, like I myself, I asked the average man, oh, she's a grown woman. She's
Yeah.
capable of making her own decisions. You know, I raised her to be, you know, independent. Like she doesn't need a man to tell her
Who's
wow,
the
how far
yes.
getting their responsibility, right?
But then
Deflecting it.
and so now you are allowing that your daughter to become a prostitute. Are you
To
telling me that?
because number one, you're not heeding the command,
Mhm.
right? Of you giving her, because this is from the very first marriage.
Mhm.
Did Eve go looking for Adam? No. Eve was given to Adam by her father, Yahweh.
Yeah, the best father ever. Yeah.
Best father ever, the father of
Mhm.
fathers, right?
Mhm.
He gave his daughter into marriage, and that should be the cultural heritage and tradition that we should follow here in humanity.
We need to go back to it.
We need to go back to the old ways.
Oh my
right?
gosh. If we go back to it, I think that's why my grandfather got all his daughters married. He took it his responsibility of like, I am not leaving you all single here. We're gonna get
he knew it was his duty.
yeah.
But let's look at 2 more passages. This one and another one, right? That really just gives us more of a fuller, meatier.
Okay. I'm excited. I love this topic. Let's go.
What's going on here with the sexual immorality thing, right? Of selling off oneself, right? So 1 Corinthians 6:15 says, do you know that your bodies are members of Messiah? So you call yourself a believer in Yeshua, of Jesus, right? He says, shall I then take away the members of Messiah and make them members of a prostitute? So as a believer, when you go out here on a date, on a night out on the town, and it doesn't matter even if an exchange is for a kiss, right? You are exchanging, because a kiss is a sexual thing. You are exchanging a sexual pleasure, right? For that night out, right? You get what I'm saying? And it's not a kiss that you would give in the assembly.
No, we know the difference. Don't let
It's a
them be hypocritical.
Let's qualify this here, right? Let's qualify what we're talking about. What we're
A
not talking
holy kiss and
Don't
you
get it
know,
twisted.
French kiss are two different things.
Don't get it twisted. Right. So shall I then take away the members
Yeah.
of Messiah and make them members of a prostitute? He said,
Uh-huh.
may it never be. So the
Never.
apostle knew
Yeah.
that this was not supposed to be, even in his day, and still in exile under Roman oppression, right? He and his people, right? He
Mhm.
says, or do you not know that one who joins himself to a prostitute
Mhm.
is one body with her, right?
Mm.
And again, he's speaking to men, right? He says, for
Yeah.
he says the two shall become one flesh. So here's the problem.
Mhm.
The problem is that you still become one flesh with her, even though you might not commit yourself in an engagement or in a marriage. You're
Oh.
still becoming one flesh with her, even though if it was for a transaction of a cup of coffee.
So you
Or
got all these extra limbs in your body. The flesh.
so
It's like a
we
warp here. Sorry.
we know scientifically, right? And we can add in the description box on this video, we can add some links that we scientifically know that it's been scientifically proven through studies that was going back since 2012, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Peer reviewed studies, right? That there is this bonding effect that goes on when ejaculation takes place.
Yeah.
And what happens is the semen of the man penetrates the walls throughout
Yeah.
a woman's entire system.
Yeah.
And it even reaches to her brain.
Yeah.
And the male DNA attaches itself to the female cells.
Yeah. It can change you. Yeah.
Right. It is
Mhm.
designed to be a master regulator. It is
Mhm.
designed to govern her. It is designed to
Mhm.
become her head. And so it regulates her
Mhm.
brain, it can regulate her nervous system, it can regulate her reproductive system, it can regulate, her immune system. It is designed to regulate this woman,
Mhm.
right? To be under the headship of that man. So now,
Mhm.
if she's dating 50 men out of the year and she's sleeping with, let's just say 10 or 15 of them, right? So she's got 10 to 15 men who are now heads over her, who masters.
That's just
That
a monster. You
And
become.
this is a spiritual conflict of what's
Yeah.
going on. And this is the reason why Paul says, may it never be,
No.
because you become joined to her. Your DNA becomes joined to her. And
Mhm.
you become one body, you become one flesh with her.
Mhm.
And this is the science of what goes on, even after you had your little escapade, and you
Yeah.
take your
Yeah.
shower, you go your separate ways.
Yeah.
You still in her. You still a
Yeah.
part of her.
You just left a part of you in her. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And for
It's
women, it's tremendously worse. I mean,
It
yeah.
is, yes,
Mm.
yes. And so this is how you have women dealing with the high body counts of
Mm.
the personality conflicts or the split personalities, right?
Mm.
And so she has all of these different male DNAs from
Mm.
different men, and they're conflicting with each other, right?
Mhm.
One is pulling her one way, and another one is influencing her another way, and so she's conflicted.
Yeah. Lots of conviction.
And
Yeah.
to medicate it, guess what? She goes out on more dates.
Because the world says also all you need is to get under another man.
Girl, you just to get back out there. Oh, y'all broke
Mm.
up. You just need to get
Mm.
back out there,
Yeah.
and just get back on your game again,
Yeah.
right?
That's the
She
world.
becomes
That's the world.
encouraged, right, to
Yeah.
do it even more, right?
But again, we leave it up to the woman to solve this problem, and we've taken out the responsibility from the father.
Of the father, right? So it says, but the one who joins himself to Yahweh is one with him, right? Flee immorality, run from it,
Run, Forrest, run.
run from it.
Every sin.
Every other sin that a man commits is outside the body, but the immoral man or the sexually immoral man, right, or the zana, sins against his own body.
Mm.
Because now you're now putting your body in her body, and that's all it was to you.
Mm.
Actually sinning against your own body. You're not
Mm.
valuing your own
Your
body.
own body.
Your
Yeah.
own body, right? And it says, or do you not know? Here's another fact, that your body is temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, right? The Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have from Elohim, from Yahweh, and
That's
that you are
amazing.
not your own.
You know.
You have been bought with a price, therefore glorify Yahweh in your body. So dating leading to sex is not glorifying Yahweh.
And we're not our own. Like women, yeah, we have to know that we also belong to our Father, but we belong to Yahweh as well. That
Right.
And we're not free to give our body away.
Yes. So you should be making decisions as it regards to relationship with the opposite sex, right? In a way that honors and glorifies him. Right. I want to confirm this thing, and so I need to go to this passage. So I want to confirm that sexual immorality is from a New Testament perspective, right? People like to New Testament.
Yeah,
right?
porneia. Yeah, go ahead. Confirm.
That
Yeah.
it is idolatry, right? And Paul taught on this as well. All right, so I think it's the next chapter. It's going 5 into 1. Yeah. Here we go. Verse 5, verse 1 of Ephesians, right? And this is what Paul says. He says, therefore, be imitators of Yahweh as beloved children, right? So if you're going to imitate him, what did he do? He gave his daughter, right? Into marriage, right? He didn't let her go fend for it on herself in the cesspool of sharks, right? By herself, right? He didn't let her do that. And walk in love, just as Messiah also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to Yahweh as a fragrant aroma. That's the sacrifice that he wants, right? But immorality, talking about sexual immorality, talking about azana, talking about prostitution, or impurity or greed must not be named among you as proper among saints. So saints, right, should not be prostituting themselves. Saints should not be on the dating market that definitely leads to sex and sexual encounters. That would include anything other than your average how would you say intercourse, right? That could be kissing, that could be sexting, right?
Yeah, sex texting and Instagram posts and dressing up provocatively.
Yes. There's a number of things, right, that consists of this, right? There must be no filthiness, right, and silly talk or coarse jesting, right, which are not fitting. For this you know with certainty that no immoral or impure person or covetous who is an idolater,
there we go,
has an inheritance of the kingdom of Messiah and Yahweh. So this is how serious this is. That this dating can keep you out of the kingdom.
Which is terrible, Brother Michael.
This is an eternal matter. This is not frivolous, trivial. No, this is a serious matter. Dating is so corruptible for a young lady to be spending exclusive time with a man without her father or male figure or father figure presence there, to where she is encouraged throughout that whole time to sell herself off. What do you say, Sister D?
Well, I see a dilemma, brother. I see a dilemma because here we are in our modern day with the majority of believers, Christian believers who are in church are female, right? Females that are single. And you're telling me I can't go solve this problem myself on my own, and it affects my salvation. Help me out here.
Can I elevate what you just said a little bit more? Can I intensify it a little bit more?
Yes.
Not only do you have congregations, right, that are predominated by women who are single, who don't have fathers there, the pastors are telling them and encouraging that they go out and get married by way of dating.
Yeah.
That it's okay. That
No,
there's no right. There's no hint, no blink, no nothing. Just, you know, go out there and, you know, have a good time, daughter.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
matter of fact, there are dating events
Mhm.
that are put on, singles events, right? Singles
Sponsored by,
ministry, right? Sponsored by churches,
yeah, sponsored by churches.
right?
And then, okay, so, okay, they're doing all that. And then the ratio of available men, like I told you, I spoke recently to one of my relatives who's a pastor, and there's like zero single men in his church,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So,
So there's no dating events happening, period.
so you're aiming at something here. What do
But Brother Michael, this is you just made me say that now this is serious. I'm going to be prostituting myself if I go
Right.
look on my own, which is, and now most likely not get into the
On a
kingdom
dating
if I go
app,
that way,
right?
or
Yeah.
dating app.
Mhm.
So I need to get my sexual needs in. I need to get myself in covenant with a righteous man. I can't initiate this on my own. It's dangerous. So what am I going to do? There's no men out there.
Right. See, you're starting mess again, Sister Deborah.
Sorry, Brother
Let's go back to the scripture, right?
Mhm.
There's another passage that comes to mind based on what you just said, right? And we might as well go there. I believe this is 1 Timothy. Help me if I'm correct.
Okay.
4, when it talks about the list for
For widows.
widows. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's optional for me to be my single season forever.
Okay, let me see. List
Yeah.
widow.
Yeah. Is it cool to be single? That's just so cool. Get that there.
It's 1 Timothy, so I was a chapter away. All right, so here is Paul talking. Okay, in fact, let's start with verse 8. I'm going to read that from verse 8, please.
Verse 8, but if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever.
All right, so if a father does not provide a sound opportunity for his daughter to go into belong or be in covenant with another man, if he does not provide that search, that brokering, that vetting, right, that screening, if he does not provide that for his daughter, then he is worse than a what? An
unbeliever. I never put that word. I never, because we're always thinking about provide, like he gives her some money and he gave her a roof over her head.
Provision comes in many different forms.
Yes.
There's spiritual provision, there's monetary provision, there's security provision, right? It becomes an emotional provision. It comes in different forms, right?
But if you think about it, yes, of course. Be
inclusive of that, right?
And then you're talking about the context of the verse. So I'm going to read verse 9.
Yes.
The context. Okay. A widow is to be put on the list only if she is not less than 60 years old, having been a wife of one man.
Okay, so there's a list, he says, for widows. There is a list for, he says, for widows, and that list is let me just put my phone on vibrate.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that list is a list that are for women who were married to one man, right? And meaning that they were faithful to one man, right? Anyone less than that age, which is 60, should not be on that list, and he's going to get into that a little bit further, right? But just to say, there's a list. Why? Because there was no welfare, there was no retirement plans, right? Back in Paul's day. And so this idea of taking care of one's own, this was a part of it. You took care of family members who couldn't do for themselves.
Yeah.
So The ministry took on widows who didn't have anyone, because normally a lot of times people when they become old, they out age everyone, so they don't have no one, right?
And
Especially
no
if
children, and also no children.
right. So who's going to take care of them, right? So it's only practical that the ministry would have some sort of system in place, right, to take care of these women who are no longer marriageable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's read the next verse.
Okay. And verse 10, having a reputation for good works, and if she has brought up children, if she has shown hospitality to strangers, if she has washed the saints' feet, if she has assisted those in distress, and if she has devoted herself to every good work.
Right. So so in other words, here's a qualifier. A qualifier is that she has to be a Yah-fearing woman. She has to be a godly woman. She's not just going to get on it just because she's a member of the church, right? Or because she meets the age quota, right? No, there's a lifestyle that she had to have lived and has to be currently living, right?
Well, this is not like government welfare there. This is not government welfare standards here.
Not government welfare, exactly. There's standards that's attached to this, right? Okay.
Verse 11, but refuse to put younger widows on the list, for when they feel sensual desire in disregard for Christ, they want to get married.
They want to get married. So don't put these women under 60 on this list, because they're going to be still motivated to want to get married, right? Thus, what he says,
thus incurring condemnation because they have set aside their previous pledge.
Right. So that list is a pledge for women who vowed they're not going to get married anymore. So there's no such thing as young nuns. It's right here, cancel Catholic Church nunnery.
Oh, right? Yes. They're making all these 18-year-olds pledge to be virgins.
If you're going to be a nun, you should be an old woman. You had already lived your life. You already had your own children, right? That's what that list should be for. But not for young women. Wives. Because
and they're making us pledge to be single and everything. That's not right.
And remember, Jeremiah 29 is a command for men to give their daughters into marriage. Right. It's a command.
Wow.
Right. Verse. Okay. So all right. So
13,
next one.
Verse 13. At the same time, they also learn to be idle, as they go around from house to house, and not merely idle, but also gossips and busybodies, talking about things not proper to mention.
Not proper to mention. So this would be the problem of having nunneries for women below 60, right? Because this is what they wound up doing. That's the point that he's making.
Time on our hands. It's true. I see that in my life.
Right. Too much time in their hands. Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Therefore, I want younger widows to get married, bear children, keep house, and give the enemy no occasion for reproach.
Oh, that's the last one.
For some have already turned aside to follow Satan.
So this is the thing. Anything outside of this will lead you to Satan, right?
Darn it.
Not only that, he makes his preference known. I want, right, younger widows to get married. So
listen, he's not just talking about widows there, because if he's talking about widows, does that apply to just single women? Period, have never been married.
Right, but clearly, if he's not talking about a woman who has never been married. So if he wants a widow to remarry, obviously he wants someone who's never been married to get married.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously, we can just logically just deduce or reason that that's what he would say if he was here with us, right? But the thing is that his desire is in line with what Yah commanded in Jeremiah. He want the women to be given into marriage, right? And the problem with them not giving into marriage, right, is it opens the door to Satan.
Yes. Yeah. And it's again Paul speaking to the men in the congregation mostly. He's not telling the women to go get themselves sorted.
Yes, he's talking to men, and these are instructions he's telling the men. This is how you are to lead the women that are in your care.
You see another thing, yeah.
Right. This is what I want you to do with the women that are in your care, that are underneath your guidance and your instruction and your command.
Sort
You
them
heard
out, get them married. Don't lead them
us,
to
the
do the
married.
same.
Right. So there's no such thing as married to Jesus. And you
But
29.
you're
You 29,
29.
married to Jesus. You ain't never been married. You might have been on 20 dates, but you're not married to Jesus. No.
I am so tired of hearing that. And I'm also so tired of women being so satisfied in their single season forever. And then they
Mhm.
also say they're going to decentral men. Like as Christians, they're saying, oh, I don't want to make marriage my idol. And so I don't want to aspire to get married because it's so,
No,
it's ridiculous.
Yah
Margaret.
is glorified when a woman
Mm.
submits herself to a man in everything.
Mm.
In everything, her emotions, her will, her intellect, in everything, Yah is glorified.
Wow. Oh wow, this is beautiful conversation, Brother Michael. So much. I thank you for giving us
Yes.
this food
Yes.
this morning. It's really good.
Yes. Well, praise Yah. Thank you for being spontaneous and say, hey, how about we just record right now? We just so yeah, that's good. That's blessed. I have fun. I enjoy this, but definitely, ladies, the Apostle Paul says in 1 Timothy, a woman's salvation comes through her submitting to a man.
I see that.
Childbearing, being submissive, being
Mhm.
godly, that's how you attain salvation, right? A man attains salvation by submitting to his head, which is Messiah, right? But he's also responsible for caring for those who are in his care or under his authority.
He's the steward to them.
And
Yeah.
he can access the kingdom without doing his role, just like a woman can access the kingdom without doing her role. We all have
a role. It's a role we were created to do. This is not.
everyone is a foot, not everyone is a hand, not everyone, right? We all are different members, we have different parts, we have different functions. But needless to say, whatever has been allotted to us, we are responsible for to be stewards over.
Amen. Wonderful. Thank you, Brother Mike.
I guess that's it. That'll cover this. If you like this video, we do ask that you like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel, and then don't keep that love to yourself. You got blessed from this. Definitely, I'm sure that there's somebody that there's some father figure, some brother figure. There's a out there. She's pretty, she's attractive, and all the guys is giving her attention. She might not be what she has herself into, right? So yeah, definitely don't keep that love to yourself. Share the link to the video. And with that said, look out for more content here on Digging in the Word and Call for Wisdom. While you're there, go on over to Call for Wisdom. The link will be in the description box. Full of content for the ladies, full of content in terms of wisdom, in terms of instruction, in terms of how to live and how to navigate in these last and evil days on our dear sister Deborah's platform. And so once again, we thank you. And we just look forward to seeing you the next time. For King and Kingdom, we bid you shalom.
Shalom.